the plans. And the first 100 days, of course.
Then you know the most important thing. The most important thing is that there were election promises and pledges. There were what was said in the campaign platform, and then there is the reality check done. The reality check is once President-elect William Ruto takes over and he realizes that he has to shoulder the burden of not only the people in here, not only 7.2 who voted for him, not only the 6.9 who voted for Raila, not only the 8 million who did not vote for him or anyone else, but the entire 50 million population. Now that reality check must be measured against what was said. For example, is it realistic that the cost of cooking flour can come down today or this week? Is it possible that can happen? Now that's a very important question that William Ruto, once he walks to State House, will have to deal with it. And they have said that they've had teams who have been working on this and who know what to do, know where to get the money. But the truth is, the test is in the eating. So once he swears in and he realizes that burden is definitely going to hit him, that there are things that he has to push forward. There is short term, there is mid term, and then there is long term. Now he might want to do it to give Kenyans the low-hanging fruits, what he's able to achieve. And for me, what he is achievable within 100 days, for example, is constituting his government with 50-50. That is something he can sweep. He can get it. But the other ones that he has to work on, I think that might take a little time. But Kenyans are so unforgiving, and Kenyans are going to check. Remember, less than 12 hours or less than 20 hours after he's swearing in,
Right.
the EPRA is going to review the petroleum prices.
Yes.
Currently, we are paying 160 for petroleum. Remember, the subsidy, fuel subsidy, is supposed to end in October. What happened? Do we expect that when he walks out of this place, the fuel cost is going to come down? It's impossible. It's not going to come down. And remember, when the subsidy ends, and the government cannot be run in subsidies perpetually, it has to come to an end. There are measures that have to be put in place. There's austerity measures that have to be put in place. Now the question is, what happens to the expectation of Kenyans who are hoping that when he puts the Bible down after swearing in, the cost of fuel, for example, is going to come down? Now it's not going to come down. That is the reality. Right. It's not going to come down immediately, but it shall come down depending on the policies. Now the other thing that is urgent is the constitution of the government. Right. Regional balance, bringing Kenyans together. These are things he can achieve. For example, the regional representation in his government is very important because Kenyans need to see that. Right. So even as we prepare, I see it's about 10:30. More dignitaries are coming in. And by the way, Dan, the presidential motorcade, you realize something today, that the motorcade will be similar. The one that will be used by President Kenyatta and the one that will be used by President-elect William Ruto will be similar. The outriders will be the same. The number of cars will be the same because they're basically presidents today, both of them. So it's going to be the same. And one of the interesting things that you'll have to look for, the moment Ruto swears in, take a look at how the aid to President Uhuru Kenyatta is going to shift. It's so seamless. From President Kenyatta will remain without one, will go to Ruto. So these are things that will happen. So there are things that you have to notice. So wait and see the motorcade drive in. See them sit there, and basically today even their sitting arrangement with their spouses is basically the same.
Right, and of course, Mijungu, as we continue telling Kenyans on the expectations, as we speak, the head of state have started actually coming into the stadium, and as we speak, right now, some few minutes ago, the president the Jamhuri ya Tanzania, that's President Samia Suluhu, has just arrived at this swearing-in ceremony. And some few minutes ago also we saw the president of Somalia also arrive here. And you recall that President-elect a meeting with the president of Somalia to discuss about the Mirror. And I think more reasons to why maybe the Somalia president is actually here. And maybe I should ask there is a very their kind of international community has really welcomed and congratulated Kenyans in how they conducted themselves. Maybe why has the international community really been attracted to this swearing in? There is a lot of heads of states that are actually coming to this swearing in ceremony. Is it about matters to do with the bilateral talks, or maybe the engagements with these countries, or maybe what are they looking forward to?
You know, Dan, the reality is that the outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta has built relations with so many countries. So most of the dignitaries and representatives, heads of states and government who are here is because of the good relations that Kenya has cultivated with the outside, with the international community. You remember this is the second time that President Suluhu Hassan is coming to Kenya. Straight after her inauguration, replacing the late John Pombe Magufuli. She was also in the country as among her first stops. Now, she's part of the international community. Remember, she was here in the invite of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I've seen the Somalia president. I have seen so many other representatives and presidents and heads of state. Now, this is not because William Ruto is becoming president, but it's the entire arrangement of even the outgoing government, the relations that President Uhuru Kenyatta, the late President Mwai Kibaki built, and the late President Moi built. This is the culmination of that, the kind of confidence that they have in Kenya. They are friends of Kenya. They must show solidarity with the new president. Remember, the president cannot work in isolation. He has to work with this international community. Now, the international community also need that goodwill to work with Kenya. Trading relations, I mean, there is a lot that you can say about it, but the bigger picture is the democracy and the example that Kenya has set right from the ballot. Remember, this is the only election that I can say has witnessed the least amount of disturbance and unrest. Forget about 2002. This in the last 15 years is one of those elections that have shown that indeed Kenyans can do it. Then it goes to the judiciary. Is yet again another statement that Kenya has made to the international community. Remember, most of them that you see today were a little bit hesitant to congratulate the president. They were general statements. Once the judiciary put a stamp on William Ruto's election, the whole of the international community rallied behind William Ruto. So this is just a culmination, a show of the confidence they have in this. So William Ruto not only has to work for Kenyans, but also has to show the international community that the goodwill that Kenyans have given him can translate into something. So that's why the expectation of Kenyans is rife that once he takes over the presidency, is he going to fulfill what he told us, or is not going to fulfill? Is he going to stand by the ideals? Very important. So even as he takes over, that weight is not lost to the president-elect William Ruto and his principal assistant, who is Rigathi Gachagua.
And of course, from the screens there, of course, the president of the Republic of Seychelles, I think, is the one who is being welcomed. The president for Seychelles.
Yes.
Being welcomed by the Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Rachel Omamo, and Nairobi Senator, Nairobi Governor Just Johnson Sakaja, as well as the head of the Public Service Joseph Kenywa there, and is being led to the dais, the presidential dais, that is where, of course, he will be following the events and having to see what is going to be happening. More heads of states expected, of course. We have like 3 who have arrived so far, or I think 4 of them have already arrived, and we expect around 20 of them. The rest that have actually arrived are heads of delegations from different countries. And we continue discussing about matters to do with the expectations here. We understand that once the president-elect, the deputy president-elect arrives, and then the president-elect will be arriving before President Uhuru Kenyatta arrives, and will be having a guard of honor, and after the guard of honor, he will be heading to the dais, the presidential dais, where the judiciary is going to be taking over, and the swearing-in ceremony will be happening thereafter, before entertainment. And of course, while the swearing-in ceremony will be happening, the military will still be in here at the this field, the Kasarani Stadium field, still awaiting for the new chief. That's the new commander-in-chief of the Defense Forces that takes over the instruments of power from the outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta. And yesterday we actually saw President Uhuru Kenyatta have a meeting with the President-elect at State House, and he he outlined his achievement in the last 10 years. And I don't know, critics have said that it was very necessary for President Uhuru Kenyatta to have that sitting with the President-elect, William Ruto. Maybe you can just tell us, Mijungu, from how you see it. Could this be something that many Kenyans did not anticipate that it would have happened and the two leaders meet? Or did it even happen in the year 2013 while Mwai Kibaki was handing over to President Uhuru? Maybe part of it.
I think what Kenyans anticipated was that it was supposed to happen earlier. This is nothing that is cast in law, but it's tradition and culture across the nation that the outgoing president has to receive the incoming president and show them around. Remember the joke that ushapima curtains, you know? Yes, that's literally what it is. That the incoming first family, Rachel Ruto, needs to know the corridors of State House. But I think this is something that also happened in 2013 when Mwai Kibaki handed over State House to Uhuru Kenyatta. It's a tradition. So Kenyans' anticipation was that this was supposed to happen earlier, not that it was supposed to happen at the tail end. Remember, the outgoing president was also a little bit hesitant to even congratulate the president-elect. In fact, when he said, my leader is Raila Odinga. But yesterday, he did not walk back on his words, but he did the right thing. That was the right thing to do, to congratulate the incoming president, right? Because that will be his president. Whether he likes it or not, William Ruto will be his president, at least for the next 5 years. So what had to happen happened yesterday. And of course, he had to elaborate and enumerate the achievements in the last 10 years. Right. You need to know, we gave you a mandate in 2013, and we were standing right here, and there was air of celebrations across the country. And what did you do with the 10 years? Your principal assistant for the last 10 years is carved me in.